The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of our Mage the Ascension game. I'm so happy to have the entire cast with us. This episode is Neon Rain on a Taxi Windshield, and I think you'll see why. But before we get into the episode today, let's do a little bit of a recap for those of you just joining us. We opened up with our resident scumbag, Vasily Iadovich, waking up on the morning of January 6th, which is a 12th night. Began by making a few phone calls, had the lady who he shared the evening with kind of deliver an envelope that had been left for him with his initials on the front, and then a calligraphied wax seal of T on the back, which only had a poster for this past Halloween's haunted walkthrough of the Biltmore Hotel and the time 7:30 underlined. After a moment, he kind of took his focus into his hands, shook them up a bit, and tossed the coins to see what the strands of fate had to say, and they all landed tail side up. This proved to be interesting enough for him to kind of give it a once-over. We switched over to Chuck, who was also just waking up, but with a very different lifestyle and very different apartment. And we were introduced to Daniel Byron Thatcher, who is the local hermetic at the order of the chantry house built into the Biltmore Hotel. We gave him a job, which was to investigate a few odd occurrences that took place on New Year's Eve. Among them being a graffiti artist being blamed for a color splash at the top of a construction site, which is the Southeast Financial Center. Mangrove trees that have been bent out of shape at the Vizcaya Gardens, and the Orange Bowl 40-yard line on the home side having been vandalized by delinquents who burnt in a design eating up the grass. At first glance, these things didn't have anything to do with each other, but then they noticed that there was pentagrams kind of designed into each of these situations. We shifted back to Vasily, who made his way over to the Biltmore, was eating a medianoche, as we call it in Miami, and was playing John Coltrane on his Walkman. He got to see a young lady of Asian descent, who he later found out is called Joe, who is the groundskeeper and was keeping people who were taking quinces pictures off the actual property. After a discussion with his avatar about who is the guy, he was brought back, and he ended up paying for a tour of the haunted Biltmore Hotel and Hospital. And as he made his way up to the 24th floor, we jumped back over to Chuck, who had arrived at Vizcaya, had seen the trees for himself, and we were introduced to one of his contacts, Detective James Barnes, who told him this is outside of his wheelhouse. Got an Officer Ramirez to kind of get swabs, since there might have been some kind of radioactivity, as Chuck tried to use some of his own knowledge to kind of see what was happening here. And he felt with his forces that some gravity had been manipulated. and that the trees were warped and not pushed down or broken. We switched back over to Vasily, who had a nice little encounter with a ghost on the 24th floor and learned about skin writing. Chuck made his way over to the Orange Bowl, where he met Samantha Bishop, and the two of them together discovered that there was a discrepancy in the center of these pentagrams in the shape of what Samantha called a hobgoblin. We left off with Vasily being introduced to what TAS is by Mr. Thatcher, and then he immediately did what any good drug addict would do, and he snorted the shit out of it. And then we left off with Chuck and Samantha leaving the stadium after encountering this hobgoblin for themselves and kind of heading towards the Biltmore to warn everyone. And we're going to pick up with our third leg, our Cult of Ecstasy member, Mr. Anderson White. You are at a stop sign. The hard drums and powerful guitar of Pat Benatar's Heartbreaker is coming on Y100, and the red and blues of a squad car behind you suddenly pop into your rear view. And from the loudspeaker, you just hear, "Pull over."
All right. So I'll snuff the cigarette out that's dangling from his lip. Pull over to the next part of the road that seems safe enough.
Mhm.
What time of day is it right now?
It's early morning. It is January 6th. We are kind of rewinding for you to kind of bring you up to speed. It is maybe about 9:30, 10 o'clock. The two police officers come out. They go through the routine of asking you for your license registration. There's a few minutes of just the one guy kind of standing by your passenger door, just looking into the car, scanning it.
What seems to be the problem, officer?
He bends down to look at you. Just routine. Give us a moment. Stands back up. The other police officer comes over, hands you everything back. He's like, "Could you step out of the car, please, sir?"
Yeah. Sure, why not? I'm gonna unbuckle my seatbelt now.
Okay.
Just do it. Hop out. Nice and slow like.
Yeah, they walk you over to the hood of the car. They ask you if you're Anderson White. And then after a few more questions, they turn you around and they start to read you your Miranda rights as they kind of arrest you.
Oh, yo, what the fuck? You mind explaining what you think you're doing?
At the station, sir. And they put you in the back seat of the cruiser and they take you down to the main precinct of the Miami-Dade Police Department. You're taken into an interrogation room, and after a few minutes, the door opens and Detective Antonio Valdez walks in with a file folder and just kind of yells down the hall, Yeah, this will be quick, don't worry. And the door closes. And this is your previous partner. This is the man who is kind of your inside man and the guy that helps you get information in and out of the police precinct. He sits down across from you. He unbuckles your, what's it called? The handcuffs.
Thank you.
Slides the coffee over to you. Sorry about that, Andy.
Coffee still tastes like shit.
Yeah. Some things don't change.
All right. What?
What do you know about Mickey Monday? Because there's some things that I don't like on the street.
I hear he comes after Sally Sunday.
Andy, you know I'm working with you. Yeah?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm still waking the fuck up.
Toss me a fucking bone here.
Okay, Mickey Monday. Can I do a roll to see what I know about Mickey Monday?
Sure. Okay.
Int and streetwise?
You can do int and streetwise. You can do perception streetwise.
Yes, please. Perception streetwise.
You can do wits and streetwise. If you just want to pick up whatever's at the top of your.
I'll do perception and streetwise. And are we using specialties?
Sure.
Okay, I was going to take a specialty in vice for streetwise, if that works.
Yeah.
So if it's drug connected,
It sure is.
Cool.
Whatever
What's the difficulty?
Let's do 7.
Cool. I've got 2 8s.
Perfect. Mickey is one of the people that has recently come into their own as far as the crew that's known for being part of the mutiny out in Sailboat Bay. It's become the most watched place in Coconut Grove because they believe that this is where all the drugs are coming in and out of into Miami. Mickey has been pushing a new strain, a new kind of cut of cocaine.
Is it a good cut or a bad cut? Is it a cheap cut or a good cut?
It is a cheap cut. He calls it El Capitan.
Capitan. I will pass along all of this information and anything that will help the police in this case.
He opens the file folder and he turns around so you can see it, and he shows you 2 current investigations that they're looking at. On New Year's Eve, a bunch of different situations happened all over the city that were hard to explain, but 2 of them in particular, the ones that they're investigating right now, had murders associated with them. The one in Simpson Park, which is on Brickell, has a pair of young high school students. Their names are Amanda Gutierrez and Israel Medina. She comes from South Miami High. She's a junior, and he is a senior from Coral Park High. These are, off the top of your head, high schools that are known for being rivals. They were found naked and splayed out in the center of a pentagram with their arms and legs stretched out like starfish and their fingers almost touching.
Now, were they from the same high school or from different high schools?
Different high schools.
Okay, so we got a Romeo and Juliet here. Cool.
Yeah. There are no markings or lacerations to give any credence to what might have happened to them. And you can see from the coroner's report that the cause of death is heart failure. But some of the pictures on the scene show that there's a bag of weed, there's a couple of pills, which you can tell are Quaaludes, there's a couple of mushrooms, and there is just small baggies of little white powder. And he kind of points to that, and he's like, that's the captain right there.
Was it in the tox screen?
No drugs. Toxicology reports are blank. Second, it happened at Caballero Rivero Woodland North Cemetery. An old homeless man who they discovered was called Brandon Walters, was found dead on the scene. This is a little more macabre. He was found hanging from his right ankle, and his left ankle had been tied back behind his right knee. Both his arms were bound behind his back and were tied to a noose that was around his neck. They're claiming that it looks like a sloppy suicide, but there's definitely, to him, in his gut, there's foul play abound. But again, at the base of the tree that he was hanging from, you can see that there's the same kind of picture. There's a big bag of weed, a bag of mushrooms, a little bag of pills, and just again, at the top of everything, there's just a little baggie of El Capitan. And again, the coroner's report says cause of death was heart failure. Tox screen is blank as well.
Okay. This does look like... What makes you think that it's the El Capitan and not any of the weed dealer or the pill dealer or anything like that?
I mean, I don't think that it's the Capitan. I think that these are staged, to be honest. These don't look right to me.
Well, I mean, that last one sure as hell don't look right. I mean, when's the last time somebody hung themselves up like that to try to kill themselves?
Yeah. pulls out a photo from his jacket and he unfolds it, and it's the same crime scene, but the man isn't hanging from the tree, and burned into the tree behind him is a pentagram.
Whew.
And then he kind of points at that one. He points at the one that's kind of surrounding the two high school students, and he's like, "This is too weird a coincidence, right? Like this is."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is messed up. What else you got for me? You got anything else about these, or is it?
I mean, that's it. We're working it. I'm in charge of the high school kids. I can bring you up to speed on what I have so far, but I'm trying to get both of them tied together. Like I think these are tied together.
You want me to go take a look at the scene?
You are gonna have better pull than I am.
Well, I mean, I got my ways, and I got a good, I still have my detective's eye. But do you still have uniforms on?
I have a couple I have in the area. He opens up a different file folder, and you see a couple of pictures that you recognize of just local scumbags and outside sources that they've kind of gone to. And among them is a very kind of greasy looking Russian that you recognize as Vasily Yadovich.
Oh, shit. Really?
And one of the other pictures is of a consultant that you've kind of bumped into once or twice, but he's never been a nuisance to you in one way, shape, or the other, and that's Charles Hume. He's a private detective.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Ex-Marine.
Hmm.
You know that Barnes has been talking him up. Him and Barnes have a connection of some kind.
Okay. And what about these guys? You think they're connected?
Oh no, these are just people that I've seen that we've gotten from your end, from some of the other advice that we have undercover. One of the pictures though is of Ricardo. And he kind of pushes him to the forefront, and he's like, "This is the guy we want. I think this is the guy that knows what's going on."
Mm-hmm. I'll see what I can do for you.
Right. You wanna ride back to your car, or do you wanna?
Yeah, I really wish that. I mean, I know you can't phone this shit in, but one of you is gonna have to punch me in the face.
You want to do it in here, or you want to do it out there?
So long as it leaves a mark, I don't think it really matters. But it's either that or I got to do it myself.
Okay. No.
Yeah.
He stands up and he takes off his jacket.
Oh. Not the teeth,
face?
if you don't mind. Not the teeth. No, right? Give me a shiner.
Okay. And he kind of starts to count down from 3, and before he gets to 1, he just kind of pops.
Son of a bitch!
Yeah. It's better if you're not expecting it.
Yeah, for you. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to put the cuffs back on you.
Yeah.
Puts them on in front, leads you out of the room, and you can hear the synth wave of a flock of seagulls I ran playing from our local radio. And he kind of looks over. He's like, "Ramirez, turn that shit down." And the guy kind of nods and turns down the radio.
Nah, Ramirez, turn that shit up.
But he takes you down to the garage. He takes off your handcuffs once you're there, and he kind of puts you in the back seat just to keep appearances. But you get dropped off in your car. And as you head out, where do you think Andy's going to go?
Okay. Now, if I'm undercover and it's 19... Ooh, I don't think I have a car phone yet. No. Damn, I was hoping for one of those big bricks. So I think I think I'm gonna go to the crime scene, actually, if it's pretty early. And if there are any uniforms probably getting ready to get peeled off of it.
From the main precinct of the Miami-Dade Police Department, the Brickell crime scene is the closest. But you could always go wherever you want to go. So,
what is Brickell? It's
Brickell is a burgeoning kind of high rise. It is where all the rich people kind of go to play. Some of the
Let's start the day off. Let's start the day off fun.
Yeah, the high rises, they're all condominiums with just people who are either come from the bank of mom and dad or have kind of become brokers and earned it themselves on the backs of other people.
Sounds good. I'll pop on my sunglasses, drive off into the sunrise, and go check that place out.
Okay. Do you turn your radio back on, or do you kind of ride quiet?
Oh no, we're riding loud.
Okay.
Your love is like a tidal wave. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that was on the radio. I don't think
it was on the radio.
I don't think anything has a Pat Benatar cassette.
Absolutely. If not that, I'll use Time 2 to make it happen. Time 2 forces 1. Listen to the same station over and over.
But otherwise, if you do turn on the radio station, it will be. I will assume that you have left it on Y100, which is the top 40s. And you'll hear a little bit of Doobie Brothers. Listen to the music, kind of catching it right in the middle of it.
Nice. I'll rock out to that on my way there, or groove out to that, I suppose.
Yeah. And as you head over to one crime scene, we'll shift over with Chuck and Sam in the middle of this cab ride to the Biltmore a little bit later on in the day. You have taken the side streets as opposed to the expressway, as the 836 is a nightmare in the early afternoon. And as you guys are coming up on 8th Street and 37th Avenue, you hear a little soft dinging noise coming from Sam's, what is it? The fanny pack that she has. And she pulls out her EKG meter, and you see that it is lights on and just a little soft dinging every so often. And she kind of slowly turns to look at you.
Good sign, bad sign. Are we about to be hit by lightning? What's up?
This is a bad sign. Something's around.
All right, head's on a swivel.
She kind of looks around and she starts to very, very quietly kind of like pointing it in different directions. It'll soften towards one direction, and then it'll get louder as she kind of points it over at the cemetery. And she's like, "Oh, that's a bad sign."
Okay, and anything more definitive than that?
She looks at you. She's like, "This is supposed to measure." And she kind of lowers her voice. Dogs. The light starts to turn green. The cars start to pull ahead, and she's like, I think there's another hobgoblin in the cemetery."
Well, do we go hunting for it? Or do we?
I can track it. I have the goggles. I don't have the weather gun though.
Okay. Yeah, okay, let's poke around. Let's see what we got to figure out what these things are up to.
Right. You tell the cabbie to stop, and a couple blocks down, he gets a red light that he can kind of pull off to the side of the street. And as you guys double back and come over, you can see the remnants of the police tape. You can see that there's one uniform kind of walking around every so often, making notes, and just kind of sitting on top of like a headstone that's tall enough for him to kind of lean against.
Here, Sam, maybe hang back a little bit. Let me go have a talk to them. See if you can get a better fix on those readings.
Okay, yeah. And she's gonna swoop around the outside of this long police tape.
And I'm going to come wandering up. Once again, kind of keeping an eye out to see if I recognize anyone. But basically, I'm going to just basically kind of make a slow, kind of casual circuit of the place, hopefully not attracting too much attention. Trying to if there's people like this kind of milling about, I'll kind of probably try to like move in with them.
Okay.
So I can kind of gawk a little bit without anyone really paying too much attention.
The one uniform kind of every time that somebody comes over to the tape, goes over and explains the situation. There's one kind of couple that points in the direction that's inside the perimeter of the tape and how they're complaining about trying to see their family member and this and that. And he talks about how this is still an active kind of crime scene. And he apologizes for the situation.
What kind of crime? I'll call from the back of like.
He kind of looks over at you. He's like, not at liberty to discuss that, sir. Sorry.
Who is?
He kind of shakes his head at you. He goes back to attending the couple, and after a few minutes of kind of back and forth, they kind of give up and walk away. And you see him just kind of slump with a heavy sigh.
All right. Is there a place where I can get a bit of a quiet like angle where people won't be able to really observe me, but I'll still be able to kind of watch the place, like
oh yeah,
behind a tree or something like that nearby?
Yeah. You can see that Sam has already made her way to the other side of the crime scene, and she's kind of like pointing excitedly at something.
Okay. I'll kind of communicate with hand gestures to her, and then probably go around and meet her.
Okay. From the vantage point, you can see that there is a tree that has a burnt pentagram into its trunk. And you can see that there's the little flags with the numbers as far as like evidence is concerned. There's about 20 odd flags, and she kind of points at it. It's like the stadium, Chuck.
Yeah. Okay. Any sign of is your goggles showing any sign of one of those things?
Oh no! And she pulls them out of the fanny pack and she puts them on, and she kind of starts to scan the surroundings. I don't see him.
Okay. Is it coming from any particular spot? Like, how close can your thing, I don't know, do whatever it's supposed to do?
I haven't tested its limits, but I would assume maybe like 100 feet.
Okay, so that means we're close to whatever is doing it, right?
And she pulls it out and she turns it on, and just is a dead piece of equipment. She kind of hits the top of it, and you hear that Ziggy kind of noise from Quantum Leap, like meow. But it just
I have step back.
Yeah, you never know with a what's it called, a daughter of ether.
Yeah.
And even she kind of like puts it down very calmly on the ground. She's like, I don't think it's here anymore.
Okay. Huh. Well, if it's not, I'd say that we should probably head back to the hotel.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to be running around the city trying to chase after some beast thing.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let's get out of here.
Yeah. She puts her goggles away. She very calmly picks up the meter and turns it off, and then puts it in her fanny pack, and then she follows you to the main street.
Okay.
We call another cab and head over to the Biltmore, where we find Vasily still sitting across from Daniel. He has a file folder kind of open between both of you in the hallway. There's pictures of the 3 crime scenes that he wants investigated.
Oh, sorry, I was only half paying attention. I'm still coming down a little bit. Yes, crime scenes. Very fascinating. I will, of course, take these, and I will do my own investigation. Believe me, I'm a man of my word, and we have a good exchange in good faith of how this is going to work. Huh? Yeah? Good. Vasily knows this. He does not need you to respond. So, when do you want me to get started on this? I have to make some phone calls.
I mean, I would have preferred now. I think is the best time for you to start.
Excellent. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure meeting all of you. I really look forward to trying more of your space drugs, whatever you have here. I will be back for the rest of my fee later.
I hope to see you. Mr. Yadovich, I do hope that you understand that this is not a one-time thing. Like, I do have high hopes for you.
Yes, and at the risk of sounding somewhat arrogant, I view every first-time interaction as a tryout. You haven't made the team yet. We'll see how you do. But I will be going now. I believe I've used up as much of my patience for this as I can. Vasily goes. I will see you later.
Very well. I'll have Joe escort you downstairs then.
Yes, please.
He shakes his head as he pulls himself up. She comes over. She forcibly pulls you up onto your feet. She is rough with you.
Oh, you don't have to be so rough. I'm more than happy to accommodate anything you want. This way towards the exit, yes? We're not going up to the boarding rooms again?
No, we're going down.
Excellent. Thank you. I look forward to getting to know you better as our business relationship continues to grow.
I'm so excited. And she leads you to the stairway. You go down. And as you are coming out the front doors of the Biltmore, you see a taxi cab pull up. And you see a young girl, young woman, maybe a little older, a little more wilder, very much tomboyish, come out of the cab. And you see someone that you've tangled with in the past a couple times. You've been on the wrong end of his investigations, but you've always managed to kind of get out before the getting's good. And you see the private investigator known as Charles Hume.
I believe I know you.
Vasily, the fuck you doing here?
I was invited by people who now own this place. They had some business to discuss, and apparently my particular reputation preceded me. In exchange for some things, I am going to get
Your
things
smell
for
carries
them.
pretty far, Vasily. What the hell? Who are you meeting with?
I fail to see how that's any of your business, Chuck. But, apparently you know them, I know them. That practically makes us friends now, huh? Who's your friend?
Sam looks at you, Chuck, and she's like, do you know him?
Unfortunately.
Not biblically.
You're gonna get a weird look from Chuck. He's just another
Go ahead, say it. Just another one.
life drug dealer. That's
Low-life
what you
drug
are.
dealer. That's right.
Yeah.
You chase the American dream your way, I chase it my way. I know which one of us is going to have the better night.
Sam is kind of taken aback, and her eyes get wide. She's like, do you have drugs on you now?
Several. It's what I would say if I were the type to be a, scumbag drug dealer. Instead, I will say that I have a prescription, and anything that I have on me is prescribed by a doctor.
At this point, I would like to apport my tape recorder that's in my pocket, and pull it out, because that sounds like a great bit of text to have had recorded.
Like I said, I have prescription. So, Lovely meeting both of you. It is an absolute pleasure to meet you, miss. And Chuck, I'm not going to say that it was bad meeting you, because it's never bad to meet you. You're wonderful, man. What I will say, though, is if you happen to trip and fall and crack your head on the fucking sidewalk, I will not be remiss. I bid you good evening. By the way, if you want, they may have to speak with you about thing they have me working on. Call it a hunch.
Huh.
And you do
Do
see
you
a
want my
similar,
phone number? I have
similar
five.
file folder under his arm.
I'm just gonna, Chuck's just gonna shake his head like, "Come on, Sam."
Okay.
Pleasure meeting you, Sam. I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you later.
Bye, Mr.
Chuck, you
Scumbag.
Yes, it's a wonderful name. It's Vasily. Don't worry, you will not forget this. Chuck, which one of my phone numbers do you want? Pick a number 1 through 5.
I already know them all.
Doubt it. And Vasily will casually walk into the cab that they just got out of.
Yep.
And he'll incidentally, in the event that we are stuck working together in the near future, I'm going to be at the Limelight. Come find me later. I will be working.
Working.
You never know. You may be able to make some real money if you came over there with me. I figure with the last 2 jobs you did, you can probably put a down payment on a what do you say, a gas grill or an Atari or whatever it is you kids play. I don't know. But what I'm getting at is you're poor. I'll see you later.
The cab drives off.
I'm gonna kill that man one day. I swear it. I just.
And as you come into the Biltmore, you see Zhao kind of nod at you. She
Hi,
comes
Zhao.
over. She gives you a warm handshake. Chuck?
How's it going? What the hell was Vasily doing here? Please
Daniel.
don't tell me you have anything to do with that guy.
No. I think and I hope that at one point in our relationship, I will punch him in his throat.
Can I watch? I could probably sell tickets. Like half the fucking city would want to be a party on that.
Oh, that might replace our tours then.
Yeah. Oh, whoa. How are we gonna have a silly punch off? It'll be great. Anyway, where can I find Byron? We're getting some weird shit going on out there.
He's up in his room.
All right.
Come on, I'll turn on the elevators for you.
Wait. Oh wait, did you make him do the whole stair thing?
Mm-hmm.
God, yes.
And she goes over. You hear the very loud thunk of her kind of turning on the main power grid to the elevator. There's the hum, and she dings the elevator up and takes you up to the 5th floor. And you can see the hallway of that you've been used to. You've seen it a few times before, where every room that belongs to one of the circle, one of the order of the mages that live here in the Biltmore, like to either side of the room is painted to kind of show their personality. And you can come up to the familiar geometric and very kind of orderly and golden ratioed artwork of heaven and hell that circles that kind of flanks the door that belongs to Daniel's room. The door's ajar. He's in his office, and Sam's kind of like off to the side by her door, kind of pulling out the gun and kind of just sighing about it.
You gonna be okay, Sam?
Yeah, I just gotta get back to work.
Yeah, you just take it easy, okay? Just make sure someone knows where you are, okay?
She comes over. She hands you the EKG meter that she has. Here, I think you need this more than I do.
How do I? Does it have
Just
an
turn-
on switch?
Yeah, just turn a dial. And there's only a single dial, and there's a button on the opposite side. She's like, just turn the dial, and don't push the button if it's on.
So wait, I don't push the button when it's on.
Right.
What if
right,
it's
right.
what if it's off? Does something happen if I push the button while it's off?
I still wouldn't push the button, but that's on you.
So I think Chuck's gonna hold this thing out almost like a live hand grenade and just kind of nod, and then like he'll actually open up his like satchel and probably like try to find a box or something to put it in, so there's no chance that button gets rattled.
Yeah. And she goes off into her room, but you hear from inside, "Come on in, Chuck."
Hey Byron. I'll step inside and is Joe coming in as well?
No, she's gone back downstairs. Byron's office is familiar to you. It is something out of like The Shining. There's a whole wall of bookshelves. There's a dead kind of deer skull with the antlers still attached. On one wall, there's a crystal ball. There's a kind of cylinder of resin that has a kind of stairway of the tarot cards kind of swirled around it like a DNA molecule. He has his desk to one side. It's a very nice leather chair that he sits on. There's a very nice kind of leather love seat across from him. He motions to it.
Yeah, Chuck will go over and settle onto the love seat.
Yeah.
So, okay. There's some seriously weird shit going on out there. A lot of paradoxical stuff going on. We've seen, I think Sam and I ran down 2 hobgoblins. We even popped one of them.
Hobgoblins?
I didn't even... Yeah. So, and those scenes, each one of them, there's some pretty serious weight mojo getting thrown around there. So I'm wondering if it's all backlash from whatever they've been doing. But,
what do you think they've been doing, Mr. Hume?
Well, I'm seeing kind of different signatures from each different location. I mean, you've got gravity distortion on one of them. I'm not exactly sure what was happening at the graveyard. I haven't got a chance to go to the splash site yet. Yeah, it's... If I had to guess, I'd say some group is trying to amp up something big, but that's a shot in the dark.
He pulls up another file folder. He's like, "This came in while you were away. A contact over at the Miami-Dade Police Department has handed these over to me."
All right.
And he shows you the 2 crime scenes that Anderson was made privy to earlier. And he's like, "These are a little more on the nose for what I wanted you to examine, Chuck."
Yeah. All
you
right.
see the iconography, yes? I don't have to walk you through it.
Yep. Yeah. Who's playing at this? Like,
I don't know.
like they're throwing together something, but
This makes it 5, Chuck. 5 scenes, all at midnight, all on New Year's. I don't like it.
no, I don't like it either. I mean, it's even got my avatars all stirred up.
Oh, has it?
Yeah. Okay, why was Vasily here?
I feel as though he might bring something of an outside eye to it. The 2 of us, we know odor, we know rigidity, we know how to do things in steps. That man is chaos. That man might bring some angles that we might overlook.
Is he actually a player in the game?
I did not extend an invitation to him to join the circle here at the Biltmore. And from what I understand, I think he was rattled by one of the residents of the place.
You should be careful with him. I mean, like, I think half of Miami wants that guy dead.
That means he's useful. He might run in circles. We might need to get our hands dirty in once in a while.
He's also good for burning bridges. Like, seriously.
Well,
is there anybody else I need to know about that we're suddenly like throwing into the mix here? I mean, I understand throwing everything, like whatever's going on. I mean, if I got to work with Vasily, I will work with Vasily. I'm not going to like it, but yeah, all right.
I think no one that has met him has liked him.
Okay, which tradition is he with anyway?
I didn't ask. Once I witnessed him snorting tasks, I kind of let all questions about who he is and what he does go to the wayside.
Yeah. Okay. Huh. I take it I can get my tasks in non-snortable format. That's correct?
Yes, of course.
Wonderful. Okay.
I know how to give you your payment, Charles.
All right. So, okay, where do you want me to go from here? Because, I mean, I can head up to that splash the art site, but like I'm still coming in, like I'm feeling I'm under equipped for this.
Did you see anything that might lend some more credence to the iconography at the stadium or at the gardens?
Okay, well at this point Chuck's gonna think back. Now I'm not sure I can pick up that connection.
Mm-hmm.
But Chuck is definitely better trained in this stuff than I am.
Sure.
Can I take what kind of role would that be? Like in a occult something?
We can do an intelligence occult.
Yeah.
You could do a perception occult if you kind of want to fall back on what you might have seen or heard at the sites.
I think I'll probably do intelligence and occult, or would investigation have really kind of helped there? Because
yeah, you could do a perception investigation or a wits investigation.
Yeah, I'll do a perception and an investigation roll.
No problem. Say difficulty 6.
That is 5 successes.
Okay. At the stadium, there is a lot of the ground that you saw that was burnt to make the pentagram look to have been turned up, as if something had been buried in the pentagram itself. And thinking back to the Vizcaya, there was a steady stream of bubbles coming from the center of the pentagram, of the bent kind of mangrove trees that were collected there.
Okay.
Almost like something might have been buried under the water.
So Chuck will probably like flip open his little notebook and kind of flip through things.
Mm-hmm. You go past your doodles to where you actually started to write down notes. And even in your notes, you don't remember writing it down, but they are scribbled in there as if they were reminders to yourself. Check if there's anything recently planted in the mangrove gardens, or check if they have run any pipes recently through the stadium grounds.
Okay, I think I might have an angle, Byron. I think I missed something.
All right.
Making me think there might be something underneath. I'm gonna go. I will be back.
He gets up as you get up, and he hands you about 320s. He's like, I think this should help with whatever you're moving on with. cover what
Yeah.
you've done with so
Yeah,
far?
totally. I'm still collecting receipts. Don't worry.
Sure.
I'll actually like count the 20s.
Yeah, it's 3 of them.
It's insane for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, then Chuck will be like, and then Chuck's just gonna go. He's
Yeah.
not even gonna say goodbye. He's got something to go take care of now, and I will head off and probably try to.
Which
my
site?
intention is to head to the nearest site. Yeah.
The nearest one. The nearest one then would be back at the cemetery.
Okay.
Do you want to go by yourself? Do you want to take Sam or Joe?
Ooh. No, I think he'll just go on his own for right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as you call your cab and you head over to the cemetery, we switch over to Brickell, where this very, I would imagine this very masculine kind of power car, this kind of like, what do you think Anderson drives?
Oh,
Kelly?
I think it's a T-Bird.
Yeah?
I think it's like that. I think it's the one with like the flame, like you know that Hot Wheel that everybody owned.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm driving a Hot Wheel because if I get to do it in one of my realities, it's gonna be this one.
That's how you do it.
So we're doing it right.
And we'll say that we catch you pulling up to Simpson Park as Radar Love is currently on its final chorus. And you park the car, you kind of walk over to where there's a couple of uniforms that are just kind of walking the perimeter. One of them recognizes you and kind of like gives you a knowing nod before going over and pulling the other guy to the other extreme side of the crime scene so they can turn their back to whatever you want to do.
Okay. I'm gonna hop under the tape and head over and take a look at it. What does it look like here? Oh, sorry. As I head over, I'm gonna take a bump because I need to focus. So, and I'll wait for that to kick in for a sec. But his goal is to get a good look at the place using post-cognition with time 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because he's not a very good investigator, but he can see back in time, so it helps.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Um,
Just a little bump.
So yeah, so the lucidity of this, because you don't have El Capitan running through you, like you actually have some of Miami's good. And as the pupils kind of dilate, everything starts to kind of, the colors become more vibrant, sounds of the birds, the people kind of playing off in the distance starts to kind of really ingest itself into your ears. Everything kind of starts to make sense. You can see where the pentagram was kind of burnt into the grass. You can see where the 2 bodies made the indentations in the grass. Go ahead and roll your Arete.
All right, I'm gonna spend a willpower first of all.
Okay.
I do have this as a rote then, like crime scene investigation. So it only works at crime scenes.
Yes.
But that's a 6 and a 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's 3 successes.
That is 3 successes.
Which-
It is not technically vulgar. It's not technically coincidental. Their beat cops are far enough away that it would have just been without witnesses. So it's only a difficulty 6 because your highest sphere +4. So your 3 successes give you a good view. You can see how the bodies were kind of placed there post-mortem. They had already been dead as they were placed there. You can see the thought that kind of went into the pentagram and how whoever did it is part of a group that is doing for others. You know that there is a central kind of focus that they're aiming this energy towards. And you see the iconography of what these 2 high school students are supposed to represent. I don't think Anderson is familiar with the tarot. So
I checked that earlier. I'm like, oh, that's obviously the Hanged Man. And then I looked at him like, he has no idea.
Yeah. So you will see that somebody has gone to great lengths to kind of mimic what is the Lover's card. And there's a moment where you see the other kind of cards being shuffled in the hands of whoever did this. There is the Hanged Man, there's the Magician, there's a Chariot, there's the Hermit, and there's the Tower. And then as you kind of cycle through all the images, you realize that that's 6, not 5. And that's when that's when the beat cop that recognized you kind of comes over, puts his hand on your shoulder, and snaps you out of it. And he's just like, Sir, you're going to have to clear out. This is a crime scene.
Oh, sorry, officer. I must have zoned out.
Yeah.
I'll nod and just head out. Okay.
Yeah. He follows you.
Oh, sorry.
He follows you to the rope just to make sure that you kind of walk out.
Yeah, I'll wander out and I'll head directly to the nearest payphone. Or if there's no payphone in this area, if it's kind of a richer area, like head up to any hotel or club or anything like restaurant and just ask to use their phone.
There are
he's dressed pretty slick, so
yeah, there's plenty. You come up to a nice kind of looking restaurant that has one side open to the streets, and there is actually a side open to the bay itself. You can see like there is a speedboat that's kind of been moored out on one of the docks, and you can see that there are some people kind of eating on the outside patio. The young lady at the kind of podium sees you come up, and you see her kind of like fix her hair. She stands up a little straighter. She's like, "How can I help you, sir?"
I was hoping y'all had a place on the patio for a cafe au lait or some espresso. And could I use your phone?
I mean, the phone is for employees only. She kind of looks around. Is it going to be quick?
Oh, yeah. Just making sure a friend knows where to meet me.
Sure. And she kind of pulls you over to a side room, and there is just a simple kind of phone there for the employees and a couple of lockers and whatnot.
Sounds good. I'm gonna look at. You said that I recognized before and probably remembered phone numbers because it's back when people used to do that. I'll either do that or I'll dial the operator and I'll try to get Chuck on the phone because he's a private investigator and he deals with spooky shit. I know those two things about him.
Yeah, you do know his phone number. It is an easy kind of remember to pull, and you dial
75309. That's right.
That's right.
No, that's Jenny's number.
That's Jenny's number. It's 867-5310. It's the one.
You're right. It's the next one. Next door neighbor.
But you call his phone number and you hear his answering machine pick up something simple. What would Chuck's answering machine sound like, James?
It would probably be something like hi, this is Chuck Hume. I'm like a private detective. Yeah, that's and I do reasonable rates, and it would cut off at that point.
Yeah. Just dude.
Chuck. Hey, it's Anderson White. I think we met at a mixer a while ago. I have a question about some card thing. You know, the one that the fortune cards. If you are available, I'm down by the marina right now. You can probably reach me here. Give what is this place? El Vente. Give El Vente a call. Ask for me. I'll be the devilishly handsome man down by the water. If not, I guess we'll play tag. Let me know where I can meet you.
You hang up. And as you open the door to kind of go back out into the restaurant, you see the young lady is there. She does have a small espresso cup in her hand. She's like, I have a table for you if you're going to be staying.
I think I could stay.
For lunch? And she kind of smiles.
They don't let you off for lunch, do they?
She shakes her head.
Well, I guess I'll just have to get a lot of refills to have pleasant conversation.
She pulls the old double tuck as she hands you the coffee. And as she does, you just hear, "Hey, Cindy, have him come over to my table, please. It's good to see you, Mr. White." And you recognize Ricardo's voice.
Wow. You're up early? It's not even night yet.
A nice day, and I was visiting my sister, Mr. White. Please come sit down.
Sure. Who's your sister? I'll grab my cup and bring it over.
You know that he's talking about his fraternal twin, Teresa Antonia Cardenal. They are the two Cult of Ecstasy members that work at the Biltmore with Daniel.
Fair.
Thatcher.
Yep, those guys. You're right. Oh, actually, I have that on another sheet of paper. Good. I just don't have it on page 4 of my notes.
There you go. You gotta go all the way back there.
I know, right? Investigation games will do that to you. Yeah, swing over, grab a seat.
Yeah. So you
It's meeting you here.
you're looking at the crime scene, I take it?
Looking into it. Friend asked me to.
Oh,
Why? Matters to you?
Daniel asked me to.
Daniel.
Yeah, Officer Ramirez has handed him some information.
Officer Ramirez handed me some information too.
Oh, this is turning out to be very sexual, Mr. White.
I was gonna say serendipitous, but whatever works for
Oh,
you, whatever
that's-
fits your.
That is the word I was looking for. Yes. You know that English.
How is he looking at me right now?
He was smiling and has kind of sat back in his seat, and now has kind of like pulled his cup, his little mug up to his mouth to kind of
Like
cover.
tiny, like that.
Yeah. But he's kind of like, you know that English is not my first language, Mr. White.
Hey, if it makes you all more comfortable, we can switch to Spanish.
Oh, have you been practicing your Spanish? Have you
I
been
have a tongue
rolling
for it.
your? Oh, I am sure my sister would find that very interesting.
You said it.
I know her type. They're my type too. He kind of winks at you.
How does he take that? Curiously, actually, like, I think it actually is going to raise a little bit of a flush to his tanned cheeks.
Okay.
Just, well, they say good taste runs in the family.
Oh, you're a flatterer, Mr. White. I don't remember this about you.
I'm a lot of stuff. I'll switch to Spanish, which, like, his Spanish is okay. Like, it's not great, but it's like, it's probably close to the same level, you know? And I'll just switch to that. And I tried contacting Chuck Hume about this. I did some investigation around the site, and it looks like murders had something to do with those fortune cards.
He nods and he's like, El Gordito, I know him, which is the little fat guy.
Yeah, he's kind of chubby, isn't he?
He carries the well.
Hey, no shame. I'll be headed that way eventually myself. If I ever stop working out.
Don't stop then.
Can't
He
stop,
takes another
Walt.
drink.
Fair. Do you know anything about them cards?
No. My sister does. She is into that thing. The
No, I got 2 reasons
crystals.
to see your sister.
Oh,
Seems
color
to
me
me,
jealous.
though. Well, I'm seeing you right now.
You see now he kind of gets a rise, and you see that he kind of gets some color in his cheeks.
The way I'm saying this, though, is not to switch back to business, but there have been 5 of these incidents, right?
This is what I heard.
I saw a vision when I was there.
Mm.
There were 6 cars. There's another one coming.
Mm.
Do you know what the rest are like? Because I saw one with a guy hanging, and there were these 2, kind of like a Romeo and Juliet type of thing.
Mhm.
And there were some others. But I ain't seen the other crime scene photos. Have you?
No. I know that Mr. Thatcher had sent a Samantha over to the Orange Bull. I know that he had contacted Chuck. You see him kind of really hit home that he doesn't like that nickname. I think he went over to Vizcaya. And as far as I know, no one has really gone to see downtown. I think maybe Bashir is there.
Okay. Where do you think the best place to start after we finish lunch would be?
Oh. Well.
It seems like you're a bit further ahead on this than I am.
It's okay. I can help you catch up. And as he says that, you see that he reaches out to kind of hold your hand coyly, and as he's about to, you feel a different hand kind of come down on the top of your hand, and one of the other seats is hard scraped against the ground of the restaurant, and you see his sister plop down. Andy, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
And as she sits down, she kind of leans forward, pulls you in for a kiss on the cheek.
I'm not going to say no to that. Buenos dias, indeed.
Yeah, buenos dias.
It's a beautiful day.
She's like, are you going to help us?
Seems like fate has already conspired to have me in on this.
Oh. The 3 of us together again.
I will shoot Ricardo a look on that one.
Yeah. He just kind of looks down at his cup as he takes a sip.
I am looking forward to a little bit of excitement for a change. It has been a boring week.
Yeah, she brings her hand up to your face, and there's a big smile on her face, and she's like, let's not tell Daniel about this. I don't think he would be happy that the 3 cultists are together. And she kind of winks.
Oh, it's just a matter of tradition.
I like how funny you are, Andy. And she kind of waves for the waitress to come back over. And I think this is a good spot to kind of go to break. We'll see you guys in a few minutes. Good evening. Welcome back, everybody. And as we left off with a nice little menage a trois in a cafe, we shift over to the resident scumbag of the group because I think I need to know where Vasily's going now that he knows that Chuck Hume is on the case as well.
Obviously, Chuck can't be the one doing all the work. His ego will get inflated. We can't be having that. So Vasily goes to the Limelight, which is his favorite. It's kind of his lair. It is one of those clubs that's trying to be up and coming, but isn't there yet, or may never get there.
Yep.
It is, however, a fan of younger people that like to do a lot of drugs and listen to music and dance badly. He's kind of taken it over as he's like the Don of the Limelight. So he's got his own room in the back. He's got his own setup. People there do what he tells them. So when he walks through the door, Danny, bring me 2 Cuban sandwiches, 4 shots of Stolichnia, and 2 telephones, please, and my directory.
You see, he nods, and one of the other kind of up-and-coming DJs kind of sees you walk in. He waves at you from the booth. He's like, Vasily, look, I found song. It's good, yeah. And he starts playing. You hear the violins of what's called Sweet Dreams by the Eurythmics kind of start to play. He's like, we
I
play.
like it. He's very good. If you could do me a favor, though, when you get the chance, throw on Here Comes the Rain again, but do it in about an hour. Eventually, people will be coming down. They want to dance slower. Just do that. Plus, it's a beautiful song. Love Annie Lennox. Perfect.
Oh, I have slow song to play, and you hear the record scratch as he pulls the
No,
Eurythmics.
I swear to fucking God, if you do that one more time when I'm trying to pay you, you are to set a mood. You are setting a mood. If you stop when you're playing halfway through, you fuck up transition, you know what? I don't care. I have something to do. Do your fucking job. Otherwise, I will find someone to do it for you. And I will be cutting you not just from the money.
Oh, okay. And he quickly pulls up like the first record he can, and you hear Abba's "Take a Chance on Me,"
It's better.
and he kind of
And I
gives you a
turn
it gives you a thumbs up, like he's doing a good job.
David, I swear to God, if you do not find me a better DJ than your strung out druggy cousin, I'm going to be very pissed at you.
He works for $20 an hour, like. It's
Fine, we'll find someone that will take 40. I'll pay double for something with a little bit of actual quality. Now, where are my drinks and my drugs?
Okay, I bring them to you.
Good. And he goes out back to his office, which is it's one of those ones that's just got, just posters of the Playboy magazine just tacked up everywhere, 2 calendars that are out of date, news clippings of different drug busts that were in the area, and a review on the Limelight that he's got, tacked up there. And he goes to his desk and clears it off, takes the 2 files, puts them down, opens them up. In a moment, when his employee comes in, he'll kind of take one of the shots without thinking. He just knocks it back, puts it down, starts going over the reports that are there. And his thinking is that with the kind of horrible stuff that this is, someone had to have seen something. Whether it was a homeless person, whether it was a junkie, whether it was somebody saw something. And someone is always willing to talk with the right questions and the right application of motivation. So as he's going through it, he's going to try to figure out, based on what he's seeing, where it took place, he's going to start reaching out with his contacts to figure out who might have seen something related to these.
Okay. Let's have you roll your... you want to do this with charisma or manipulation?
Manipulation.
Okay. You could do
the answer, if you ever ask, will always be manipulation. Just
Sure.
throwing that out there. And
you could do streetwise.
I'm going to say streetwise. And can I use my my streetwise of get you what you need?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my specialty.
Are you calling on just your contacts, your regular contacts, or are you pulling from your black market?
The black market is only used to obtain things and sell things. If there were information that might be on black market, I don't think it would pertain to be a local murder case. So he's using a combination of his underworld influence and his contacts to suss out some information.
Sure.
So that is going to be...
It'll be difficulty 7 then.
Then I will spend a point of willpower because Vasily is very self-confident.
Correct.
All right, so that's 8 dice. It's just easier for me to use a dice rolling app at this point because he has so many dice in these things.
Whatever you want to do. But you do hear the door open a few minutes later. David comes in with one of the 2 sandwiches, and in the background you can hear Scandal the Warrior.
All right, he can live. So that's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Okay. So what exactly do you want to pull from these people on the streets?
I want to know if anybody saw either who did it, who might have left the scene first, who might have been on the scene before the cops got there. Basically, if someone, like some homeless guy went and started picking pockets, or some tweaker in an alley saw someone dragging bodies or whatever. I just want to find out who can tell me what about these situations.
Okay.
And if they know anybody who's crazy enough to do something like this or scary, and if we have some psychopath running around the drug scene that could be doing this, then I want to know about it.
There is one thing that kind of gets back to you that kind of worries you, is that everything that people did get to notice, like the situation with Simpson Park, the situation at the cemetery, not the Vizcaya because it's kind of closed off, but the Orange Bowl, all of these places had a group of people kind of coming in or celebrating New Year's around that area, and then exactly at midnight, all of them just kind of vacated.
Okay.
There's also the talk of somebody having seen like a misfired firework at a couple of the locations, and just kind of like this bright, very colorful flash.
Okay.
And then you also get conflicting kind of callbacks because at two of the locations, the same description of one of the people that was among the partiers matches, almost like twins. Like it's almost exact down to whatever they were wearing.
So he's absently, as he's taking notes, like on a little scratch pad as the calls are coming in, he's knocked back two of the other double shots. On the last one, he's kind of finishing up any notes, and anything in my callbacks, because I know I threw a ton of dice. Anything strike people as just fucking weird that's been happening on the streets that no one's been talking about?
Just the graffiti. The graffiti on top of the financial building has been the big talk of the town.
Okay. And is that affiliated with any gangs or organizations?
No.
Okay.
The door opens, the second sandwich is brought in, the guy brings the rest of the bottle, since there's maybe like a quarter of it left. And from outside, you can hear Carl Douglas kung fu fighting.
Fucking hate this song. All right, thank you. You are a good man. Thank you so much. By the way, in about probably about an hour, a man's going to come in. He's going to be wearing probably a tank top, disheveled, ugly-looking purplish shirt, terrible-looking beard, bald. Just an ugly man. He's going to be coming here, and he's going to want to talk to me. You don't have to res him. Just bring him right in. And when he does, you make him a fucking sandwich.
Okay.
Lupe knows her shit. She makes the best fucking sandwich in the world. I want to make sure he get one.
Do we also set out shots for him?
No. He has not earned his shots yet. You don't bring him. I'll pour him one. I'll pour him.
Okay, boss.
And at that point, he pulls out his prescription bottle and pulls out two of his prescription. Takes the shot glass that he just finished, slams it down to crush the two pills. Goes to the one he hasn't drunk yet, scoops it in, and does the shot with the pills in it. And then he pulls out his directory and his starts waiting for the pills to kick in. Yep. And the music starts hitting him, and I'm going to use a correspondence 2, the entropy 1, to pick the random number out of the phone book near where he would be.
Okay.
All right.
So it's going to be the extended kind of ritual, because you've got to try to find all 7 numbers. So let's.
Well, he has a actual directory of all of the public phone booth phone numbers that are used to call those phone booths. So he's literally just picking the one and calling that.
Oh, okay.
Close to where he is. He's not trying to suss out number by number.
Okay. Then let's have you do one roll. There's no witnesses. It's not vulgar, so it's going to be difficulty 5.
Okay. I have 2d10s. I can actually roll.
Yeah.
So that would be 2 successes, 2 5s.
Okay. You spin them, or you kind of lay out a couple of the cards out of your Rolodex on the table, and you kind of hover your hand around and just
he drops his coins on the cards, and whichever one they land on is the one he's gonna call.
Okay. So the coins kind of scatter around your desk. Some of them land up on heads, some of them land on tails, but there's one that does land on tails that actually covers a address for a phone number that you have over by what would be 8th Street and Lejeune almost.
He pulls out his phone, dials the number to the payphone nearest where Chuck is, and calls it.
Okay, so as you do that, we'll go over to Chuck as he arrives at the cemetery that he left with Sam. How are you going to come about this investigation this time? Now that you're on your own.
Well, this time Chuck is actually just going to... Chuck's not interested in being as subtle as he was before. So he's probably just going to... He's probably going to start like walking down the way towards the entrance of this place and try to like kind of scout out where the different where the police officers might be that might be watching over the place. He needs to sneak in there and actually get access.
You noticed that the one kind of uniform that was patrolling isn't visible. Maybe now, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, there should be somebody there. The shade is very welcoming. It's still a little bit warm because it is Miami, but you can kind of sense that cool night air kind of just starting to nip. But yeah, there's the police line is still there. The rest of the cemetery is kind of empty. There's a couple people in the far corners, but where the crime scene is, there is nobody around.
All right, so Chuck's probably gonna like drift a hand under, just kind of towards where his pistol was, and he'll kind of like look around, and then he'll probably try to find a spot he can just kind of like look over his papers a little bit, just because. And my sketches from before, just so I can get a good sense as to where I think that spot might be, where something might be concealed, probably kind of isolate the epicenter of this place.
The epicenter is directly where the tree is that has the burnt pentagram into it.
Okay.
And you can see that there is a hand with a very clear long-sleeved blue uniform of a police officer that's kind of dangling down from one of the branches.
All right. Chuck is gonna move closer and probably, like, if there's no one else around, he's gonna duck underneath the tape and then kind of skulk his way over there. Provided I can do it kind of... Are there actual people like looking in that direction?
Not at all.
Convenient. Too convenient. But don't have a choice. All right, he's gonna go for it.
Yeah. You notice that anybody that is visiting any of the graves near the actual taped off area have turned their backs to the center of this kind of crime scene.
Huh. Okay.
But as you step towards the tree, you just hear this kind of soft lapping sound, this very soft kind of crunching sound, almost like a dog eating a very kind of mixture of wet and dry food.
Okay. I'm looking up in that tree. Is there something up in there? Up in that tree?
You notice that one of the kidneys kind of drops down from the open stomach that this cop has, and you don't see what has done this to him, but you do see the red outline of where the blood has kind of stained this creature's muzzle. And then you just hear this growl, this soft.
All right. Do I have enough of an eyeball in this thing to actually shoot it?
It's going to be a rough shot because all you have is the blood around the muzzle. But you could do either a dexterity firearms, you could try a wits firearms.
I was actually going to do some skill enhancing magic, I think, if that's okay.
Oh.
Essentially, I've got correspondence and forces 1. If I can combine those together to basically just like the innate understanding that I have, like I've got like runes inscribed on the inside of the slide.
Okay.
In order to basically just give me like a supernatural sense of just how exactly the weapon's going to perform and what exactly I'm looking at.
Sure. Roll your arete.
Yep. Cool.
You're only using the first level of each sphere, so it's not going to be too difficult. There's no witnesses. This is a little vulgar. So it's going to be difficulty 5.
Okay. And that's 2 successes, an 8 and a 7.
Okay. You bring your sights up, you kind of trace where the muzzle is in this thing, and you pull on a little bit of correspondence and forces, and you can kind of imagine where this thing should be as far as like center of mass.
Okay. Oh, actually, I'm going to do one last thing if I could. I'm going to cast again, actually, before I actually fire.
Okay. What do you want to try to do?
I want to use Forces 2 to suppress the shots.
Oh.
So there's not a bunch of gunshots in the middle of a crime scene.
Okay. Yeah, that's not technically vulgar. Well, it kind of is. But there's no witnesses, so it's only going to be difficulty 6 to do that.
All right, I will spend a willpower on that one.
All right.
And I got 1 success.
Okay. So you feel like the shot will be at least somewhat silenced.
Okay. And then I am going to plug that thing because I'm not dealing with that. And guns the weapon seemed to work well before. Like
yeah. Go ahead and roll your dexterity and firearms, or like I said, your wits and firearms. If you're gonna fire from the hip,
I will go dexterity and firearms.
Yep. I'd say difficulty 7.
3 successes.
3 successes. All right. We said that you had like a 45.
Yeah. It's a 1911.
Okay, so that's gonna do 5. No, that's gonna do 6 damage on its own, and you've got 2 thresholds because it does some dodging. So do 8 dice of damage.
Cool. That'll be 4.
Right, you see this cone of blood kind of shoot out from where you hit it, and it just kind of collapses out of the tree. You hear this heavy thunk, this crunch of what must be some kind of bone, and you just kind of start to see it materializing. It almost looks like a child's rendition of a Bengal tiger. It's got this kind of wicked maw that doesn't make any sense or shape to it. The teeth don't really kind of connect like a trap would. It's got 6 legs. It's this purple body with these black kind of stripes. It's got 3 eyes, these long dagger-like ears, and it kind of just turns in your direction with this low growl, like it is angry, but it also deathly hurt. And there was no thunder crack from your gun. It was rather
Wonderful.
quiet.
Does it do anything else?
No, it's just kind of pulling itself away from the tree and away from you.
In which case, I will probably... Oh, wait, I have to recast this quiet one again, don't I?
Yeah.
I'm going to quickly, so I'm going to be, put my hand over it and start muttering the words, and then I'm going to basically, come around and try to quietly finish it off.
Okay.
Because I'm not dealing with that shit.
Yeah, you've done it. You've done the effect already, so I'm not gonna have you roll for it again. We'll say that if you're gonna pop one shot off, it will be silent, and you just kind of bring it up to its head, I assume, and just kind of put it out of its misery. And as just like the one at the orange bowl, it starts to disintegrate, almost like ash in the wind, and you notice that as it vanishes, the cop comes down off of the tree, almost like instead of being found up there, he's found kind of face down on dirt where he would have been when this thing attacked him, and he's just kind of still dead, but there's no lacerations, there's no missing body parts, there's no heavy wound on the stomach. He's just kind of, by all accounts, kind of had a heart failure.
Cleaning up after. All right. Chuck's gonna just kind of nod and just accept that, and he's gonna go around and try to see if he can find, go take a quick look at that tree and try to see if I can find that that source of power, if it's still there, or if it.
With the hobgoblin's death, the power has almost become non-existent. It's winked out.
Okay. In which case, he is going to turn and basically get the hell out of here before I get labeled a cop killer. Oh, God.
Yeah. You've fired 4 shots, so you would have 4 left.
Yes, I would, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll, tuck the pistol away, and I'm going to hurry the hell out of here.
You go down towards 8th Street to find a payphone to kind of call a cab to kind of get you out of there as quickly as possible. And as your hand comes up to the phone, it rings.
Yeah. Hello?
Doc, it's Vasily. It took me
you
forever
little
to
shit.
answer the phone. Yeah, Doc. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about this matter that we are both working on. I did not catch you at bad time, I hope.
Okay. What do you know, Vasily?
It's not something I wish to discuss over the phone. It was hard
Okay,
enough to
let's
try
meet
to
up.
reach you. I had to
let's-
pull out the phone and look up asshole in the phone book. And I called
Vasily,
the
shut
first
the
number.
hell up and tell me where we're meeting.
Oh, come to the Limelight. Do you
Fine.
know where it is, or do you need me to...
Yeah, I know where it is.
Okay, I can fax you a map. I have fax machine.
You called me on a payphone.
I know, but I'm really excited. We just got this fax machine. I have yet to use it.
Chunk. And I'm gonna head to the Limelight.
Okay. And as you head over to the Limelight, like Vasily called earlier, we shift back over to the restaurant, the little cafe on Brickell, where the 3 Cult of Ecstasy members are all kind of plotting their chaos together. And almost like coincidence hasn't stacked enough against or towards the 3 of you, you hear Marvin Gaye's "Let's Get It On" softly come on the radio at the cafe.
Okay. Well. What next?
Teresa,
Dude.
Teresa leans in, her hand still on yours. Daniel has he has people working the case. Andy, do you think that maybe we could sit this one out?
Well, I'd like to.
Oh, go on.
I just know that El Capitan is involved in this somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think I could go on for very long if people were dying because of something connected to the piece of shit behind that.
Again, she brings her hand up to your face. You are a good man, Andy. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
I don't listen when they do. That being said, Mickey Monday probably doesn't come out before night. And it's only lunch right now. It would be a shame to waste the afternoon sitting around doing nothing when I could be getting in the right mindset.
I think I know how to help you with that. You see her start to trace a sigil on the back of your hand.
Well, I am always happy to learn from a senior ecstatic.
Oh. I am only 24, Andy. I don't know if I count.
Well, you've been involved in this longer than me.
Oh. And you see her brother kind of scooch around so that he's closer to your other side. And you see that he starts to draw something on the back of your other hand. But it is literally just a dick. Like he's drawing this long phallic symbol.
Maybe we should talk about this back at the chantry.
Okay. Sure. Do you want to take your car or do you want to go in one car?
I think I'm not going to leave my car around here. Class the place up too much.
No. Okay. You know where to find it then, yes?
Yeah? Yeah? Did you both came together?
I mean, I can drive him. And he kind of, he looks like he's about to say the same thing about her, and then he kind of just pouts and slinks back in his chair.
All right, well, tell you what, I'll race you there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this.
She gets up, and she, as you get up, she kind of leans in, kisses you on the cheek, and she's like, "Don't be a sore loser if you are eating our dust."
I would be happy to eat anything that you would provide, which hopefully you will still do when you lose.
Okay. And you see them drop a $20 bill on the table, and she kind of nods at her brother. He nods at her, and then he just sucker punches you right in the gut, and you hear them run off towards their car.
Okay. Guess what? That's literally all I needed. So I'm going to ride the high off the adrenaline from getting sucker punched. And I'm going to activate my stunt driver rote. Because time
Nice.
one forces one, baby. That's all you need.
Yep. Go ahead and roll your error check. Let's see what happens.
All right, let's spend a willpower on this.
Nice.
A 6 and a 9. Oh,
Three
shit, a 6 and a
successes.
9. Nice.
Yeah, it is a 6 and a 9. Soon enough.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So this is gonna, the goal of this road is that it lowers my difficulties on drive checks.
Nice.
Basically, it's ability enhancing magic. So I guess,
So you have 3 successes. How do you want to split them up? Do you want to divvy them up for duration? Do you want to divvy them up just?
Yeah. What's duration scale is? What's 2 in duration again? It's
2
1
in duration would last, I believe, the entire scene.
Yeah, I'll probably lower my difficulties by 1 for the scene. I think that probably seems the best.
Perfect.
And let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay.
So what would you like me to roll for this? Just try to beat him there, because I have the specialty high-speed maneuvers on drive.
You can do Dex and Drive to start off, and as the streets start to become more crowded, we'll shift over to Wits and Drive.
There. Okay, sounds good.
Almost like coincidence has kind of nudged you in the right direction. As you turn on your car and Y100 kicks up, you hear Toto's "Hold the Line."
Okay. So with a willpower, that is 2 successes.
2 successes. All right.
And I actually have to spend that willpower, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Other ones are, God, I love this merit.
Are you taking the streets, or are you trying to get on the expressway?
How does the expressway in Miami work back then? Is it bumper to bumper, or is it?
In the mid-afternoon, it's mostly people heading into downtown at this hour. The congestion isn't rough yet leaving downtown. It will get rough around 4. The 836 does go from downtown all the way through to Chrome. So you can get off pretty much.
I'll get off when I get there.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, I'll take the expressway for part of it, but I think I'm gonna mostly punch side roads just because less chance of speed traps.
Okay. So you take off. You can see that they might have gotten some kind of head start on you just because they might have been parked closer. You did have to kind of run across the street towards the park. And as you take off, some of the streets just start to kind of congest with people coming out of the downtown, kind of going back towards their house. Go ahead and roll your Wits and Drive.
Wits and Drive, okay.
You try to clear a yellow light before it turns red.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to spend another willpower because that's what it's here for.
Yeah.
Thank God for this road. That turned 2 successes into 5 successes.
Nice.
I rolled so many 5s.
Nice. You see the 2 cars in front of you start to kind of slow down at the yellow light. You mutter something under your breath. You shoot across into oncoming traffic and get around them and just shoot over to continue down this flagler road. It is currently a 2-lane street. It will become a 3-lane street at an intersection. You come across a hard kind of red light. You want to get onto the sidewalk. You want to try to use some of the gaps in the oncoming traffic.
Ooh. And I got to shoot through this?
Or you could take a side street before you get to the actual red light.
I will take the side street before... Wait, hold on. I've already had at least 2 cups of coffee and some Coke. I'm going through.
Okay.
Because I have the intemperate flaw, which means I gotta go. If I'm doing this, I'm doing this.
You're doing it.
So let's do this.
Okay. And so Jerry Reed's Eastbound and Down starts playing as you full on go bandit and you shoot into the oncoming traffic. You roll your Wits and Drive.
Okay, what's my difficulty on this one?
To get the right gaps, it would normally be a difficulty 8, so it's going to drop to 7.
Okay, I'm going to spend another willpower. I'm going to reroll that one because it's cocked.
Yep.
Okay, so difficulty, so it's 7 for me?
Yep.
Oh, shit. That's going to be a fail thanks to all these special ones I just rolled. Not a botch, thanks to that willpower.
Right.
That's going to be a fail.
So how do you want to avoid crashing your car? Do you want to try to get back into the same lane? Do you want to try to just come to a complete stop by pulling into like a nearby funeral home? Or do you want to try to just shoot over into like a drive-through?
I think the funeral home is the most hilarious, so let's do that.
Okay. So you misjudge the gap that you had to kind of shoot around. Some old lady just kind of shifted lanes without a turn signal, as they are wanting to do, and you have to pull into a funeral home, and you kind of come to a hard stop. You can see some of the workers were already transporting one of the dead bodies into the kind of what's it called?
The hearse?
The hearse, and you can see the cars already kind of like piling up behind it as it's about to be taken to wherever the cemetery is about to be buried in. And there's a few people that could just kind of like look in the direction of this hard screeching.
Sorry.
My bad.
Fuck. All right, gonna just like reverse and just try to punch it back and kind of like just make it around at this point.
Okay. So let's have you do a dex and drive to establish yourself getting to a good spot.
What the hell, man?
No.
What difficulty is that?
It would have been 7, so it's 6 for you.
6 for me. That's are we using any different? So if I get successes, it's not a botch, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Because I got 3 1s on that one. Yeah. But I got 2 successes. So
okay, so they just cancel out
fail.
to 0. Yeah, they cancel out to 0. So again, there's a moment where you see a clear kind of lane open up for you to jump across back into the direction that's going to lead you to the Biltmore. And right as you are about to leave the funeral home, you see somebody make a right onto your lane from a street, from one of the main streets, and they just kind of like start honking at you as you pulled out halfway into the street.
The fuck are you doing? You're in my lane.
But yeah, it does kind of force you to stop for a moment. There's another opening that opens up finally, and then you kind of get across and you go back.
I've only got one thing I can do now, Will.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna try. This is a stick, so I'm gonna try to ride that perfect place between gears. And can I use Forces 2 to enhance my speed?
Ooh.
I don't have nitrous, so I don't have like a button. This isn't Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be a vulgar effect. I think there's going to be enough people on the road that's going to be vulgar with witnesses. Yeah, it's going to be difficulty 7.
7? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Intemperate, I got to. Spending the willpower, though. Difficulty 7. I'm going to spend... difficulty 7. I'm going to spend a point of quintessence as well. Lower to 6.
Oh. Okay, there you go.
Okay, that's going to be a willpower fail. So the effect fails. I think I still get the docs, though, right?
You do get paradox.
Okay.
So it's 2 points.
God, that was rough. I rolled a 5, a 1, and a willpower.
Oof.
Oh.
Oof.
These twins are cursing me.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Whole sequence was amazing.
There's a moment where you're just like, you know what? I know how to beat them. I can still win this.
I got this. I got this, baby. Come on.
You push yourself through the car, and there's just a sudden kind of rattling, and just black smoke starts to shoot up out of the hood, and it softly just kind of comes to a stop. You kind of have to pull off the road right as New Order's Blue Monday kind of starts to play on the radio.
And I think the only thing that he can do for that is just.
Yep.
Just.
Yep. And as this is happening and you're kind of coming to grips with losing a race that you shouldn't have, we shift over quickly to the Limelight, where we see Vasily's door open, David kind of come in with Chuck in tow.
Chuck, how are you? I'm glad you could make it. Please, have a seat.
Outside, you can hear Billie Jean by Michael Jackson.
Chuck will basically go over. Is there like a couch or something? Is that what we're sitting on?
Like a folding chair.
Oh, okay.
There's two. There's only two chairs in the room. One behind a desk and one in front of the desk. And Vasily's sitting at the one behind the desk.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so he'll go and kind of brush.
Chuck, I'm sorry. I only have the one chair. It's over there. But very comfy, I promise. All of my guests sit there.
It's
would
crunchy.
You like some?
Why is it crunchy?
I got it on discount. The one at my other place is better. Don't worry about it. You know what? I'll get another chair just for your visits.
You know what? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, so we got to sit down and talk business.
Duh. And the only way to talk business, at least in my country, where I am from, and he slides a glass over to Chuck and pours a shot for Chuck and pours a shot for him.
This is a dangerous situation for Chuck to be in.
Chuck will kind of look at that. Like, look, Vasily, we got stuff to deal with. I don't have time for this kind of bullshit. And you know, if you've spiked this with something, I
have spiked it with nothing except mother's milk.
What is it?
I have done nothing to it other than pour it straight from the bottle. Now,
is it vodka?
It's top shelf. You know, high-end vodka. It is top shelf. This is what he drinks himself, and this is what he offers to his guests.
Chuck sees the label, and he knows just how much each shot is worth.
Chuck, it is a matter of good manners. I've extended you hospitality. Fine. Excellent.
There. Clink. He'll kick it back.
Yeah. It is delicious to you.
Excellent. I'm glad. Good. So I've done a little bit of digging. Do you want me to show you mine and then you show me yours, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. You know, avoiding the obvious entendre.
You know, I'm perfectly happy showing mine first.
Would Vasily put the bottle close enough for Chuck to refill his own glass?
It's right in the middle of the desk, because sometimes his guests, he always pours the first shot, but he kind of watches to see whether they take more without him offering it. So he always puts it right in the middle of the table.
Okay. Let's have Chuck make a current willpower roll.
Okay. Interesting. Unexpected. All right. So I am down 2 willpower because I spent 1 last game and 1 this game.
Yep.
So that gives me 6 dice.
Yep. Say difficulty 6.
Yep, that's a fail.
Okay.
Why?
As Vasily is talking and you just hear the annoying Russian accent that is who he is, you find that your hand kind of reaches out and without any impetus just kind of pours himself another shot, and you just bring it up to your lips and kind of take a sip out of it.
So Vasily studies him for a second. Can I pick up on the fact that was not even a wanted impulse? Because I've seen addicts before. I've seen a lot of addicts before.
I mean, you are an addict.
I just watch an addict. Yeah. No, he's not an addict. He
has a prescription.
He does the drugs. The drugs don't do him.
Correct.
So did I just see an addict in action?
Make a perception and alertness roll. Difficulty.
Would that be subterfuge because it's human nature?
No, I think you're trying to see it. You're not trying to read it. And subterfuge is more about how you kind of affect other people.
Well, subterfuge is ferreting out lies and human motivation. That's why I was going that route. But if you're ruling alertness, I will use alertness.
I think if you wanted to use subterfuge, it'd be a difficulty 9.
I almost want to say yes because my subterfuge is so much better than my perception. But I'll go. What's the difficulty for this?
8.
Using alertness.
Yeah.
Then I will spend a willpower point because that's what it's there for.
Correct.
Two 10s, a 9, and a 2.
It is definitely an addict's maneuver.
So Vasily kind of smiles to himself a little bit, and then casually reaches across the table and pours one for, first he pours one for himself, pours one for Chuck, then he corks the bottle and puts it back on his side.
Okay.
To business. Last one for now. We'll celebrate later, da?
Kicks it back.
Excellent. So, now that we are best friends, I have found out some information regarding our little problem. The incidences where they all occurred were all at the site of a party, or a gathering of some kind. Before every single one, there was always a group of people. Then usually... go ahead, please. I see you were about to speak, and I love...
No. Look, Vasily, I finally get you to actually talk about something applicable. Keep talking.
All right. So anyway, large groups of people, small groups of people, always a group of people gathering together, and then at midnight they all disappear. And one thing that I figured out is that on a few of the different scenes, the people who saw what was going on, they all described same person, or someone that could be twin of original person. I'm going same person. Call it my gut telling me. Also flashing lights, like fireworks.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
And you didn't hear this from me, but I'm also reasonably certain that there is a connection to a... Well, I've heard the rumors that there is just something strange going on here in the underside of Miami.
Yeah. There is a couple of strange things going on.
No, very strange.
Yeah.
Very, very strange. End of day stuff, man.
All right.
I believe that this is a sign of the end times. And you and I, we're going to be the thing that stops it from happening.
How about invisible monsters? You been hearing anything about that?
No, I grew cartoons and stories from my grandmama long ago.
All right.
I did have a hallucination back at the hotel, but those weren't the invisible monsters. That was the oxycodone.
Now, after talking to
Are you
Byron,
hungry?
you are...
Danny, Cuban sandwich for my friend.
He nods and runs out.
Beer, by any chance, Chuck? Do you have a preference? I always like a Corona with lime after I have vodka.
No, I'm good. We got business to do. We gotta get moving.
All right.
I think the only way we're gonna solve this is to...
Danny, Cuban sandwich for my friend. Bring over 2 Corona with lime, just in case he wants one too. I might be thirsty though, so don't worry. I'm not going to make you do anything. So, invisible monsters. That is fascinating. Please tell me more about invisible monsters. I am sure that has a lot more to do with what's going on than my actual concrete investigation that turned up a suspect.
Yeah, okay. What do you know about this suspect of yours?
I give a detailed description based on everything that I heard. I
Chuck
don't have a
Sketch.
name.
Right. So
I don't have a name yet, but I've got people on it.
All right.
So we have possible suspect. We have exact time that things went down. Description of what happened beforehand. We have rumors relating to end times. And invisible monsters is our list of things regarding this investigation.
The door opens. Danny comes in with a Cuban sandwich, a noche, which is pork based, the 2 beers, and you can hear outside Phil Collins, "You Can't Hurry Love."
I can hear it calling in the air tonight. I love that one by Phil Collins. He's not the one that's playing right now, but I've always felt it. I don't know, it calls to me. Love that song. Phil Collins. Mwah. So, here we go, Chuck. Lupe makes the best pork sandwiches here in the entirety of Miami, maybe even the world.
All right, Hume's gonna destroy this sandwich because he wants to get moving. So he is going to eat it in like 3 bites.
And he slides and as he eats and destroys the sandwich, he slides the beer over across the table because people get thirsty when they eat.
Yeah, that's fine. I can handle a Corona without any difficulty.
Damn right you can. You're a man. I won't even tell you what to do. You can hold your own shit.
So I will choke down the Corona and the sandwich. Oh, come on, let's go. Oh, that was a good sandwich.
All right,
And,
so we have invisible monsters. Tell me about what you have found out.
Tower first. We got to get to the tower.
You mean the one with the graffiti?
Yeah, that's the one. Hume will actually kind of like get up and start heading out, and he'll just kind of stop partway through, and he'll turn back. You have a gun, right, Vasily? Hey, just had
do
to
I have-
ask.
No, how many do you want? You need another.
Chuck's just gonna head out.
Vasily goes to his closet and pulls out a pump action sawed-off shotgun and stuffs it in a duffel bag. And he's got his Colt 1911 behind in his waistband. He has permits for these, so it's okay.
Sure.
And he goes out. All right, Chuck, I am ready to go. Let's go to tower.
So the both of you are in the cab?
Do you need to check in with your friends first?
No. Why would I?
I don't know. They pay you to do this. They pay me to do this.
Yeah, I already know what I'm doing. Come on.
All right, fine. God, you're so pushy, Chuck. I thought we were becoming friends.
Do you want to take a taxi cab or do you want to take your actual car?
Oh, no, Chuck, you're not driving. You're not driving, Chuck. We take cab. My treat.
I came in a cab.
Good. Besides, I always like to take taxi. It's like a poor man's limousine. You sit in the back, someone drives you places. You get to really smell the city.
And as the two of you head off to downtown to the financial building, we come back to the side of the 8th Street where Anderson is still kind of head on his horn. Just a very rhythmic kind of pounding.
I was hoping for a different kind of rhythmic pounding around this time. Thanks.
Yep. I'm glad that you got the joke.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But, at the same time.
I don't. The difference is I don't come in taxi cabs. Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. You'll hear a car pull up and the soft sound of Soft Cell's Tainted Love kind of comes out of it. And you can just see the twins kind of look over in your direction. You have to be more careful where you drive, Chuck. Andy, you could have hurt somebody back there. You need a ride?
Yep. Yes, I do.
They'll pull up in front of you. Ricardo gets out, kind of pulls his front seat forward. Sorry, Andy, you gotta go in the back.
That's all right. I don't mind.
Oh,
I like a good back seat. I'll slide in, like lock the car, but of course, like lock it
Yeah.
up so nobody. Oh, and take all my drugs out of it. the little ones that are like stashed in there, there.
okay.
And,
They open the trunk for you. You can see that they have just open duffel bags of different kinds of drugs in different kind of see-through like Ziploc bags.
Well, shit. I'm glad that my duffel bag's a different color, or else we just get our luggage mixed up.
Oh yeah, we have extra duffel bags if you want, Andy.
No, I got one. I've got like a neon, like pink and green one.
Yes.
It's the 80s.
Yep. In the future, it will have a Lisa Frank unicorn stapled onto it. But they take off towards the Biltmore, and as you and the twins kind of trade flirtatious innuendos on the way to the Biltmore, we have you show up, and they introduce you to Daniel Thatcher, who is the hermetic in charge of their kind of circle. And he extends his hand. He's an older gentleman. He's got a widow's peak of graying black hair that kind of comes down just shy of his shoulders. He's got a nice kind of well-kept beard that just has these lightning bolts of gray that shoot out from the corners of his mouth. And just a very, very well-dressed man, vest, tie, and he looks over. I thought that I had a good bead on all of the awakened in the city. This is interesting. I didn't know we had another one. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too, sir. Nice digs you got here.
Oh, you should take the tour.
Up to.
But both of them kind of nod in your direction, and Teresa kind of looks at him. I think Andy is working the same case that you gave us. I think it would be good if we all kind of got on the same page. Yes, Daniel? And he's like, really? How so?
I happen to be a friend of yours, apparently, down at the station.
Oh.
Passed it along to me to work the, I guess, mundane angles. But there ain't much mundane about this, is there?
I don't think there is, actually.
Oh. I ran into my friends here after checking out one of the crime scenes over in one of the fancier areas, the ones with the kids. Connected to magic cards.
Yes, the lovers. It's an iconography of the tarot, the major arcana.
There were 6 cards that are being used. Yeah, 6.
But there's only been five events that I know of.
Do you have a piece of paper? I can try to draw what I saw.
Sure. And he leads you up into the actual hotel. He leads you up to the 5th floor where everybody's kind of room is.
Cool.
He leads you into his office, which I described earlier, and he gives you the piece of paper. And actually, as you're going through the paper, like he starts to lay out the major arcana on his desk. And just like, are any of these familiar from your vision?
Well, hell, that's even quicker. Okay, that one, the hangy do, and I'll just, he remembers them, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah. And you pull out the lovers. You point out the hangman, the magician, chariot, the hermit, and the tower.
Yeah, it was these.
Well, we need to figure out what this one belongs to then. And he kind of separates the tower from the rest of them. He's like, this usually represents the devil. This is destruction in its purest form, chaos, incarnate, entropy.
I mean, I
its
guess.
Strongest.
Couldn't it just be a big building?
he kind of laughs and is like, Mr. White, we are in a big building. Like, we need to narrow down which one it might be.
Well, why not one of the? I mean, if it's a tower, right? That's supposed to be the Tower of Babel or something like that. So
No.
like a tall one, right?
Yes, depending. But it could be any of the buildings downtown.
Yeah. Are there any towers, any skyscrapers, any buildings like that scheduled to be blowed up? Any demo work? Old hotels, anything like that?
I mean, I could make some phone calls. We ourselves have managed to save the Biltmore from being torn down several times. This is a
Nobody
chantry
snuck
house.
in and put bombs in your basement or nothing, right?
No, I think we would know if somebody had snuck into our chantry house, Mr. White.
All right. Fair. Just thought I'd be sure before I spend any time here. Try to stick away from where, places that are about to explode.
Oh.
Enough of that.
Yeah. I find it's ruinous to one's livelihood if you are in a building that's going to explode.
Generally, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So if you are helping, if you're part of this case, Mr. White, could I maybe entice you to help the agents that I've already put in the field for this? I could offer you some tasks. I could offer you actual pulls from our chantry house if you are so inclined, you are so taught.
Yeah, that'd be nice. What do you have in terms of tasks?
He reaches into a small little kind of end table that is has a spherical base and this kind of cylindrical neck, and the cylinder opens up and you can see various little shelves with either potion bottles of a glowing hot pink liquid or the actual kind of small energon cube of tasks. And he kind of looks at you over, and with a small kind of smile, he pulls one of the vials. He kind of puts it on the desk in front of you, and he kind of closes the cylinder.
Sure. I'm happy to help.
And we can consider this a down payment then.
Sure. Thank you very much.
How's 2 more upon completion sound?
Sure, that sounds just fine. But what flavor is it?
If you take it, it is a mixture of watermelon, kiwi, and a very, very slight hint of cherries.
Okay. He's actually just asking, like literally, like, what flavor is it?
Oh,
And is that what they're going to tell him?
yeah, that's what he tells you. And curated. I find that I have found the most subliminal and kind of well tasting pulls that I can for majority of palettes.
Sure. It sounds good to me.
Excellent.
So who were the agents that you got in the field? Let's not gesture back to the twins.
No, I have a bigger use for them. And he kind of pulls out a small dossier on what looks to be 2 people. One is thicker than the other. One looks like it has more notes taken on them. The bigger one is for Charles Hume, and the smaller one, which just has some photocopies of police reports, is of Vasily Iadovich.
Well, shit. You had me at Chuck. All right. Where are these chuckle fucks?
If I know them, they're probably on their way to one of these sites. I know that Charles did go to Vizcaya and to the Orange Bowl, so I can only assume that they're either going to the cemetery, to the park in Brickell, or to the actual construction site in downtown.
I already went to the site in Brickell, so
You see
What are we
him roll
closest?
out a map of Miami, and he spins a coin. And he's like, well, we are in the Chantry house. I might as well use it for what we have. And the coin suddenly comes to a stop on Tails in downtown. There we go. Looks like they're heading to the downtown spot.
oh, guess no time like the present.
Very well.
Guess we'll have our conversation later.
Cool. I look forward to it. If you need a place to stay, Mr. White, know that this is a safe place for all awakened. We try to make it that way.
Good to know. Appreciate it. I'm sure I'll come by from time to time.
Oh, sure. If you're any closeness, if you have any kind of friendship built with the twins, I'm pretty sure that this is not the first and last time that I will see you, Mr. White.
Here's hoping not. Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you too.
And don't worry. I'll take care of this.
And outside his room, you see Teresa kind of standing on the opposite wall. Her finger is just twirling the key to her car, and she's just like, "So, Andy, where are we going?"
Downtown?
I mean, there are a few places that I could go. Sure.
There's a construction site that Chuck and that Yadovich fella are headed, so
He's a good hookup for drugs.
sorry?
Eh,
What'd you say?
Silly, he's a good hookup for drugs.
I think I've ran into him once or so, but hell, that was I guess you could say that was in a different life.
She grabs your hand and she's like, "I hope you don't mind a woman driver." And she starts to lead you to the stairs.
No. I like a powerful woman.
And as everyone is headed to this one vortex in downtown, I think this is a good spot for us to end tonight.
Nice.
So I'd like to thank everybody who joined us. As always, I'd like to extend my thanks to Shanky and Stabber and the Stabber Studios crew. Please check out Rev Ben in the Blades in the Dark game that you were in earlier. Please check out Anderson White and Charles Hume over at Dark Tales. If you like what I do, I also do some storytelling on my channel over at Ravnos Archon.
Subscribe. Ravnos Archon is awesome.
Ravnos is good. He's good stuff. I tipped my
subscriber.
mage juice to you.
Mage Juice.
Mage juice.
I appreciate it. As always, check out the Discord so you can join the McStabber Studios because they are a fantastic family and community. I wouldn't be here without them, and I appreciate every opportunity they've given me. And check out their YouTube channel. Check out tomorrow. They will be doing Vampire 5th edition. They're doing a Windy City After Dark. So if you like Chicago, and if you like vampires, you have to check that out. Otherwise, I think I will turn it over to the disembodied voice of Shanky himself as they do a really pertinent and fantastic, we would call PSA, I guess, about mental health.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. I am the disembodied voice. Ooh. Again, seriously, go check out Dork Tales here on Twitch. Check out Ravnos Archon over on his channel. If you love watching Vasily in the every other month Blades in the Dark stream, Vasily is now in it with his new character. So yeah, check that out. Seriously. Oh yeah, we've got merch. If you want to get some merch, get some merch. I just want to point out, if you like what we're doing, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. If you want to give anything to the players, bits and donations go to the players of the game, not to the studio. The studio gets subscriptions. bits of donations go to the players as a way for the viewers to show thank you to the players for doing this, because we all love playing games, but maybe they want a coffee later. I mean, maybe not a Starbucks coffee. That's a lot of bits. But,
a lot of bits.
You know, they want to have, you know, a coffee later. And as I always do when we end these streams, in the immortal words of Chops, please, everybody, mental health, it's no joking matter. It's no laughing matter. Check in on friends, please. Check in on loved ones. Check in on family members. Check in on people you barely even like, because they may not be doing well. And your voice may be what they need to hear from to make it through. And if you are someone who suffers from mental health issues, do not be afraid to reach out to your friends or your family or those you know. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, I understand. Right now in chat, there are a list of crisis hotlines you can call or text. They're 24 hours a day. They do it without judgment. And they will, you know, try to help you out, because we all need help every once in a while, and that's kind of important. And also, one last thing, because my wife isn't around to do it, please get vaccinated, get your shots. We don't want to be dealing with this COVID for another, 3, 4, 5 years. We want to get back to having parties and everybody getting together and having a good time. And we can't do that until everybody gets their shots, because it's getting old, y'all. Let's stop that. So from McStabber Studios, and of course, this amazing cast of players, I thank everyone for coming. And good night, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night.